Record for proper.
Record for proper? What's that mean?
Republic.
The Republic.
Republic.
Oh no.
I
Anyway,
did just also
we
pick
are
up the
recording.
lifetime. Okay.
No, it's just a typo.
Who wants to start then? Because like I said, I've always got an easy start point, but if anybody else has stuff, go for it.
Oh, hey, we're in an episode of Reliant that is in between episodes that will deal with the time jump that will occur during the beginning of the finale. It's not a huge time jump. It's just a little bit of time. But this is everybody. You know everybody. We're going to have fun and play a game. Go!
Woot. That was a good intro.
I know, right?
I mean, it's what the audience needs at this point. You've been listening to us. You know the deal.
Everybody who
We're going to have
listens
fun
us-
tonight.
If you started on this
everybody who
episode,
listens-
seriously, go back.
Yeah, everybody who listens to us should know who we are by now.
Yeah, so go back if you're new. It'll be fun. So, yeah, but anyway.
Alright, so I might as well start. Being that the crew recently went to Ifar and the homeworld of the Ibby, Rick thought it might be interesting to introduce the crew to some of his own culture, and has invited the senior staff to a dinner. There are some instructions that he sent with dinner. First, I mean, obviously the RSVP, but that's that. And secondly, that part of Saure Culture is that even though the host provides the meal, the guests are expected to contribute something to the evening, whether that's part of food, whether that's drinks, whether that's dessert, whether it's just activities for the evening, whatever it is. It could even be, like help cleaning up or help cooking or whatever. But yeah, so people have to decide what they want to bring and how they're going to contribute to the evening.
Well, I totally got mine ready, but I feel like I bogart a lot of this, so somebody else go first.
I know what Bryce would bring if you invite Bryce. That is, I totally know what Bryce would bring.
He's senior staff. He's head of security.
That's true. He would bring small squares of some kind of super heavy bread. He would bring lembas bread. He figured out, he probably would have sat down and figured out, not necessarily actual lembas bread from, Tolkien, but he would have figured out some sort of really nutritious way to make like a tasty bread substitute that would be very filling.
Okay,
So
first off, first question. Does it taste good? Because that's going to be the difference between Charlian loaf and lembas bread.
Yes, it does taste good, actually. It has a kind of a plain, slightly sweet flavor to it.
Sounds good. When Kara shows up, she's going to bring some some grilled shrimp from FR. She's also going to bring her metal guitar, so she's probably going to play music during the evening.
Shrimp. What if Ifarian shrimp tastes weird, though?
Not really.
It tastes like regular shrimps?
Pretty much. I mean, they're basically they're arthropods that live underwater. They are sea bug.
Well,
I think I might have said they may have also tasted a little bit more like beef at some point. A little bit more red meat plus shrimp.
Ooh, that'd be...
A little bit of
Weird, I
natural
love
spice
it.
to it as well.
Love that.
So I guess, in speaking, Marcus is going to bring 2 bottles of Ibby spring wine.
Ooh, that's neat.
Of course, the fact is, I remember now, Kara's been practicing her guitar, but I'll probably have to roll to see if she actually does a good job.
And then for the flavor of the flavor and character of Ibby spring wine is going to be perfectly clear, very bubbly, and somewhat sweet and sour. Not fruity, but yeah, Eli must think. Also, let's see who else. Quentin
was also thinking probably what I would have brought would be something, a combination, how to best, if a Terran burrito and Hasbrat had a terrible science experiment.
burrito at.
And for note, there is no juice.
And Oakley is getting his mileage out of that waffle iron. Oakley is apparently bringing potato waffle concoctions.
I know what Eli is bringing.
Oh, for the record, since nobody mentioned how we should be dressing, Kara's just going to show up in her kimono again because she feels pretty.
Eli is going to bring a tray of like empanadas, but filled with lamb, and what's that white sauce that comes with gyros?
Tzatziki sauce.
Thank you. That I can't pronounce that. So lamb empanadas and a bottle of Suntory whiskey.
I'm going to assume Kara is probably the first to arrive, just because Kara is the sort of person who would do that. So she's going to walk in there and sat down a little tray, and she's got a guitar across her back. And she looks over at Rick. Hey, thanks for this, by the way. It's always nice to have an excuse to get back together. I wasn't so sure I was still going to be on the ship at this point.
Well,
Where is it taking place?
It would be in Rick's quarters. There's a large wooden table that's down the center. It's basically laid out like a potluck. All these different kind of dishes where you can essentially serve yourself and just have a taste of and see what's available. So Rick places the last dish on the table as he sort of smiles as Kara comes in and says, "Well, whatever Starfleet decides, I'm glad to have you aboard. It has been a rather interesting few days, and I think it's good to have a bit of time just to relax it. Please take a seat."
Kara nods, sets her guitar off to the side for now, and has a seat. Yeah, if it were up to Admiral Ritt, I'd probably be out of here, but I guess there must be politics or something at work. Admiral Blackwell stood up for me, though.
From my understanding of the situation, it was the Ikven were medical practitioners, so there weren't any particular reasons for anyone to be suspicious.
That was what Admiral Blackwell said. He said that there was no reason that even a Starfleet officer should be hyper-vigilant all the time. It's not like we can expect trouble everywhere we go. You can't really do business or, diplomacy that way.
It is. You were home in a sense, so it's not surprising that things that happen may. I wouldn't know how I would have reacted, but must have been more normal for you.
Trust me, that last trip was anything but normal. But hey, it's not like I lived in Otakon anyway.
At this point, Marcus knocks at the door.
Enter.
Hey there, guys. I hope I'm not late. I was hung up on a SIP space call longer than I would have liked.
Well, if it isn't Captain Dingbat.
Yep, Captain Dingbat reporting for duty. Yeah. Kendra and Larissa aren't here, are they?
No, not yet.
Good. Yeah, they might get a call. Admiral Quinn found out that they went into that peace conference armed. And I think it'll be fine.
Hey,
we're just having to follow through protocol right now.
If I didn't get kicked out yet, they'll be fine.
Well,
good.
I do not expect Kendra to arrive. She has unfortunately been a bit under the weather, I believe the phrase is. I do not know about Larissa.
Well, hopefully. I mean, we all can, use a nice bit of relaxation after that adventure. But yeah, brought some, spring wine. Had it on hand. Thought it would, get as occasion as any to finish off the stuff.
Rick comes over and takes the bottles from the hand, and he looks at them for a moment. They should do quite nicely. Thank you, Captain. And he goes and places them sort of a quarter and 3/4 on the table, so they're sort of like separated out on the table, and everyone has sort of access to them. We're still waiting for people to arrive, but if you'd like to take a seat, or we could do something else while we wait.
Marcus takes a look around the quarters, because I think this is probably the first time he's been in Rick's quarters.
Apart from the plants, there's not a whole lot, particularly.
Can he is there a couch he can use?
There is a couch.
Okay, he will take a seat on the couch.
It's a bit hard for a couch, but it's a couch.
Yeah.
I'll just
so
take this
he,
time
he,
to say that Oakley arrives bearing a plate of potato waffle concoctions. Looks like they're made with hash browns, sauteed onions, peppers, cheese, and sour cream. And something that Oakley has apparently stated as a secret ingredient, which has me slightly worried.
The secret ingredient is love.
Robot oil.
What would a robot?
Marcus.
Yeah, what would a robot put in as a secret ingredient?
Maybe he found a way for an edible isolinear chip.
It plays tunes on your inside.
Rick accepts the concoction and places it down among all kinds of other dishes that are on the table. It's sort of hard to see what was made by Rick and what was brought in. I mean, unless you guys know because you've seen it brought in, but it's sort of like it was designed for these dishes to be slotted in.
It's basically on Starfleet standard cookware. It all looks the same.
Let's see. So Marcus is gonna basically he's gonna try to default into I'm a relaxed captain and responsible officer mode, but he's also just gonna be completely awkward about this entire situation of oh yes, this is what normal captains do. We build teamwork with the crew.
Kara watches Marcus for a bit and then stands up and goes over and sits down next to him. You could stand to relax a little bit.
For me, this is relaxed, and that sounded completely authentic, didn't it?
How have you not had a heart attack yet? She stands up and moves around behind him and starts massaging his shoulders. Relax. Stop being so uptight. You can stop gritting your teeth. You can let your shoulders go down.
Marcus at this point is just sort of he takes the opposite response of being relaxed. He hypertenses of I'm relaxed. I'm in this position, and we're gonna have a good night tonight. Everything's good. The Admiralty hasn't taken the ship away. We're good.
Ice would walk by and be like, it's not like we're gonna get attacked by, I don't know, Born in the middle of the party that Rick is throwing.
That's happened to me before.
At this point, Ambassador Zrick or Scissorik, runs in.
Sizik.
Problem is, I haven't thought of a thing for him to bring. He'll bring a Gorn dish that is remarkably similar to Saure dishes, but made with different things.
There's a knock at the door, or chime, whatever.
Yeah, Rick opens the door to meet you.
Somebody open the door, my hands are full.
Rick did.
Oh, okay, I didn't hear. Sorry. Eli walks in with a big tray of lamb gyros and a bottle of whiskey in his other hand.
Oh, perhaps I didn't account for the space of that. Come in, Doctor. Let me take those off your hands.
Thank you. Sorry.
So he takes the gyros, leaving the booze.
Marcus calls over.
As soon as Eli's hands are no longer full, Kara rushes over to him and just gives him a big hug and just starts saying, "Thank you, thank you, thank you. I haven't had a chance to tell you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you."
Eli hugs back up. Yes, I did what I had to do. I brought whiskey. The whiskey's still in his other hands. This is Hibiki, 30 years old, but technically it's a lot older than 30 because, this was aged a long time ago.
So, thank you very much. You brought back Setsa. So congratulations. It's hard to move now. You have a small ibby attached to you.
Would you like a whiskey?
And Marcus calls over. Is that from the left biobed or the right?
Oh, no, this isn't from the biobed at all. This was given to me by my father as a graduation present.
Oh, nice. Thanks. Gesture's much appreciated.
Kara looks around confused. Bioped?
Don't worry.
Nothing.
Would anyone like a drink? We have some sour drinks as well as some spring wine from Ifar and some apparently some whiskey. Where's that from, Doctor?
It's from Japan.
So Terra, I think, right?
Earth, yeah. Terra, whatever you want to call it.
Hey,
Terra,
look, some of us have to guess because we're not from there.
Terra just has some menacing implications.
Whatever, it's from your planet.
Yes.
Kara reluctantly lets go of the doctor and tries to compose herself. She looks over at, Rick. Usually I'd have soda, but since this is all about sampling Saure Culture, what have you got to drink? So long as it's not alcoholic. Lately, me and alcohol haven't mixed well.
Okay, he's got basically what amounts to an apple cider. It's non-alcoholic, but there is a bit of a sparkling carbonic sense to it.
Ah, yes, this shall replace my daily soda quite well. She seems very happy with the sparkling fizziness.
There is also some some kind of juice. It's like a fruit juice. It's sort of orangey mangoey, but a bit more tart, as well as just water.
Kara looks around. So let's see, who's still not here? Well, I guess if Kendra's not going to be here tonight, probably Cass won't be coming in either. I'd guess he's probably going to stay with her if she's feeling under the weather. Oh, what about Setsa? She seems excited.
Marcus has just sort of
Quick
like
note, you
just
meant
has
Quentin.
that look.
Quick note, you meant Quentin, not Cast. I like that we
Sorry.
I like that we call Quentin Cast.
And I have that
awesome.
trouble a lot too, but yeah, I did mean Quentin.
See, the fun thing is you can get around that just by calling everyone their Reliant voice or Reliant name. I've started to fall into that now. Marcus just sort of like rubs the back of his head and it's like, yeah, she's probably not going to be joining us with this dinner tonight. Yeah, another debriefing. This time, Starfleet security and not the fun variety. They're still trying to process whether or not she's fit to return to duty.
Oh, Kara looks rather crestfallen, actually. Kara looks over at Oakley, who's currently flashing up the name Waitley. Yeah, I don't know where Counselor Waitley is right now. He might be joining us later tonight. He said he had something to take care of this evening. I didn't want to press further, to be honest.
So I presume, just Celia, I presume that's everyone who's actually coming in?
Yeah, I think so.
Seems so.
Alright, so there's a lot of dishes there, including the ones that the crew brought. There is this like sort of noodle salad. It's sort of with boiled noodles, soft noodles with all kinds of like leaves and other vegetable matter, and there is a crisp like shaving to it that's mixed in, which adds a bit of crunchiness in amongst the general salad texture. There's some meat dishes. Most there's a couple of like fish ones. There's one of the fish ones is like particularly spicy, and it's sort of just the fish on this bed of on this bed of the same sort of crispy strip. What it is, it's trua root, but it's a very thinly cut strip of the root, and so it adds a bit of crispness, but it's quite healthy as well. You know, there's not a lot of fat or meant much in the way of what like burgers or anything that you might consider unhealthy, but there's a lot of variations of the meat and just exactly the way it's presented, but it does seem everything seems to be very well nutritionally balanced. There's nothing there that like say like a meat, just like a meatball full of decadence is, I guess, one.
Oh, don't worry, Kara's going to eat enough of it to make it unhealthy in the end anyway.
There is certainly a lot of food on the table. There isn't. There is barely enough room for their own plates in amongst all the separates that are set.
Speaking of which, Kara basically goes through and assembles an ungodly mountain of things because she doesn't know what would go with what, so she just kind of picks a little bit of everything and kind of, well, it all starts to run together at points, but she could probably pick out what's what.
Well, yeah, she does. As she eats, she does get a bit of a mishmash of flavors, and there's some that actually go well together, but there's quite often a bit of that strong counterpoint as well, as in, you know, like these two flavors sort of crush pretty hard as well.
She ends up making notes on her pad while separating the things that don't go well together.
Marcus takes a similar mismatch approach. He tries to be careful, but ends up with something that is still a mismatch, and has that same experience. But he just, we can make him roll for this to try to not let it show that he's hit a bad flavor.
All right.
That would be a cool roll. Not show Rick that that flavor combo didn't work.
Yeah, try to remain composed.
Give me a presence command check.
I like that. Presence command works.
There we go. Marcus's sheet. So presence 10, command 5. Hey, 6 and 10.
You're visibly sweating because it's so spicy, but you still give a thumbs up.
Or just a casual nod. I mean,
I like that.
Marcus is probably not in a thumbs up mode, but casual nod, yeah, pretty good. Yep. This is learning cultures.
I have to admit, some of these flavors I didn't expect you to enjoy together. They're not usually eaten at the same time, but I thought, since the whole point is to learn Saure customs, then I need to be try and be as broad as I could, and seem to be handling much better than I would.
Yeah, I mean, growing up on Laurentia, you get a pretty wide variety of cultures to be exposed to, so yeah, pretty good.
Let's face it, even in culinary schools, rules are meant to be broken. Kara says this while piling FR shrimp on top of one of Oakley's potato waffles, and then putting Trillar strips and some sort of saurian sauce on top, and then eating the whole thing.
Bryce points to something green and says, Rick, don't mix this green stuff with the noodles that are in the yellow sauce. Wow, that was sour.
There are some pretty. Perhaps I should have been a bit more careful, but there were some pretty rather interesting, shall we say, concoction. That
it was awful.
Would you like some more?
It was awful.
And this is when the door chimes.
Awesome.
Saved by the bell.
Rick opens the door to Quentin.
And I am standing there awkwardly in the hallway, shifting on my feet, holding a tray that has something that looks like a Terran burrito, but doesn't smell quite like one, and going, hi.
Quentin, I wasn't sure if you were coming or not. Please come in.
I have been forced to socially interact tonight by a very angry Bajoran. Apparently she got a phone comm message that there was shouting.
Marcus has this nod of yep, I'm totally with you tonight. One thing Marcus also does is that when Bryce says this is awful and really sour, he raises an eyebrow and then questions himself internally on why he's surprised, given who else he knows. It's just why do it this is surprising for an android. Wait, why am I surprised by this? All things considered right now.
I imagine his face to be like the one that Data made in Generations when he was like, "Oh, this is foul." Another? Yes.
Yeah.
So that was the joke I went for, Marcus, but I think it got lost in the shuffle.
Oh yeah, I was loving that. But Marcus kind of just has tries to, in a show of half-hearted, well, not half-hearted in the sense that he's not trying, but semi-ineffectual camaraderie of just saying, yeah, come in. We're just enjoying some dinner here, enjoying some company. Just dig in.
Help yourself to the drinks and food, and try not to. Apparently, some of these dishes do not go well together, so do be a bit careful.
Kara pipes up. Most of them do. Kara looks over at Rick. So you already taught me about Trillar root, last time, and I've started adding that to various different things. Is there anything else in particular you wanted to talk about here?
Oh, well, not particularly. It's just food is generally something that allows us to commune together. It's more of a I do not want to say function, but I can't think of any better word right now. Provides a social function.
You know, I have no problem with community. Nothing like a big dinner to bring everyone together, even if certain people
Bryce
should
says-
relax.
Bryce follows your eyes and looks at the captain and goes, "Food is a very good motivator for conversations."
Indeed. And he can't finish. Like, that's all he can manage to that.
Indeed.
It's a great. It's just like, indeed. And then, he is, like, I'll say you guys can probably pick up on this much. He is kind of, like, it's not like he's on the edge, but you can kind of get the sense of, like, that he is not accustomed to this kind of social interaction, more so than you would in other occasions.
Kara just kind of bumps him playfully on the shoulder and looks out at everybody and says, "Captain Dingbat, everyone."
All right, Captain Dingbat.
Eli points to the bread. He's still just eating a gyro, hasn't tried anything new. Eli, who brought the bread?
That'd be me. Bryce raises Bryce raises two fingers and said, "That'd be me." After I read the stories, I had to figure out. I had to. It was one of those. You got to figure out how to make lembas bread after you read about lembas bread.
Wait, this is lembas? He immediately grabs some and just puts it on his plate.
It's pretty filling. You might only want a half a piece, but
Kara decides to take a quick break from dinner and goes back to her guitar. "Well, I can try to play for us if everybody wants. I've been practicing. I hope that's been good enough." So, I wonder what kind of role this would be. Is presence something? Presence command or presence...
would it be, Baz?
It could be command,
And-
but
I'd say command.
It could also do something like security as well. If you wanted to be like go something more kind of accurate and controlled.
Well, I think I'm going to go with command because it's generally supposed to be sort of, evoking emotions. So I really should have brought up my character sheet. Give me half a second. I think it's going to be an 11, though.
Well, it could, for precise control though, it could be control command. If you didn't say that, I thought you said, or I thought we're on presence.
Yeah, well,
So-
yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely presence.
Okay.
Because if I make it control, she's just going to ace it. So, okay, so oh goodness, this is going to be an 8. Everybody, hold on to your butts.
Does Hippie spend any threat?
I would
Apparently-
say, nah.
It's
No threat
passable.
needed. You're getting better at the guitar, then, is what you're saying.
Hey, at least I know which way around it goes. The first time I held one of these things, I wasn't sure. Weird Terran instrument things.
That's part of the reason why we're all here, I gather, is that to experience new things.
My
Marcus?
sister plays one of those. It's good.
Yeah, Marcus realizes to that comment of like, yeah, weird stupid Terran thing. But I've actually never touched one, like never tried something like that before.
After a bit, Kara stops playing long enough to go grab one of Quentin's burritos and bravely takes a bite to find out what she's gotten herself into.
Wait, have you also had the Lempus bread?
She hasn't,
Or-
actually.
Try the.
Oh, okay, yeah, it was Eli.
She's going to do that, but first I want to get to the strange burritos that Quentin brought. So what's the flavor profile here, Quentin?
Well,
I hope it's spicy.
it's based off of an Earth burrito, but I sort of was trying to incorporate certain Bajoran culinary practices, and well,
Nice. Bajoran burrito.
sort of. It's a little different.
Toss me one. Well, don't actually toss it, but
Kara hands one to Eli while she's eating hers. It's pretty good. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Hesperat.
Well, that was the if you're going to consider something a base for anything, it would be kind of think of a transporter accident with food, and when you got back, survived,
burritos.
thankfully.
So Quentin gets to the part about think of a transporter accident, and immediately Kara just stops eating. I think I just lost my appetite.
Marcus has one of the Ibby shrimp, and he says to Kara, "Is like, oh, is this Grimnali?"
No, that's just regular old Fiskar. I replicated the shrimp, but I grilled it myself, so...
Ah, oh, nice.
Suitably distracted, Kara recovers enough to set the burrito down and perhaps try some of the limbus bread while she tries to get away from the idea of transporter accidents.
would anybody like to try a gyro or some whiskey?
Marcus has a glass of whiskey. And
All right,
drink-
Eli's gonna pour the whiskey for him. He's gonna give a little story with it. It's a very complex taste comprised of malt whiskey, malt whiskey aged at least for 30 years and then blended with other whiskeys. This whiskey has taken home the highest possible honor in worldwide competitions many years ago. Only a few thousand bottles were made a year. And this, you like it?
Marcus is staring transfixed at the glass. He's just like, it has that immediate awkward sensation of being put on the spot. Like, how, like, I've got to have a great reaction to this. And he takes a sip, and he's like, I really like this, and sort of drinks it a little too quickly. But then it's also like, oh, he second guesses that reaction. So then he's just like, yeah, I see the pedigree. It's good. And he just has that. He just has that still in that sort of that awkward place of, did I do good? Do I not do good? And just sort of like eventually just sort of peters out and sits down.
And the gyros I made myself. I was thinking about making grape leaves stuffed with lamb, but I thought, nah, I don't have time for that. And then I also thought maybe a lamb vindaloo, but gyros.
Marcus can't help but think of the sheep.
Bryce would look at Rick and be like, so at what point do we stop eating? I mean, my internal systems will get rid of all of the food that I consume, but your friends, the others here, might get a little full. Is there a point where we stop eating?
Well, I think about now is actually probably a good time since it does seem everyone has had their full. I will just give me a moment and I will start cleaning the table.
Marcus has a visible expression of relief because he was eyeing the bread of like, I don't like, you're only supposed to have half that bread. What does that bread do on the inside of you? So he was like, I feel like I should try that next, but I don't want to because I'm scared of the bread. Holy crap, I'm scared of bread. Just has that reaction of like, oh, I might need to go see Whately because why am I scared of bread?
Kara sighs and, while cleaning up the dishes with Rick, just gives Captain Dingbat a pat on the head as she goes by.
Oh,
You tried.
Oh, and if anyone would like to take some of these, whatever remains of these dishes with them, they would be welcome.
Kara's eyes light up. Oh, yeah, I should definitely bring some of these to Setsa since she wasn't able to be here. At that point, Kara starts to more carefully arrange a plate of some of the stuff that she found most interesting.
Eli's just going to keep eating a little bit more. I'm half Trill. I have a higher metabolism. I could handle more of this.
Kendra wants to join in on the dinner, so we gotta stall for time. So
Intermission. Everybody bar.
I was thinking about stalling in character. I mean,
that's what I was doing. Saying I'm going to keep eating.
Yeah. I'm done.
Okay. Yeah. So Marcus.
Oh my goodness.
So Marcus kind of just Marcus gives like Eli a look and just says, "You know, Garrick did some really nice tailoring for you on that away mission."
Yeah, if only he would admit to it.
Bryce looks across the table at Eli and says, "Are you sure you're just a doctor?"
I'm pretty sure. I'd be surprised if I was more than just a doctor.
Oh, you got command training going for you.
Well, yeah, I did command
And
training. Listen,
Bryce turns to Rick and in like a low voice goes, "A lot more than just command."
I did command training after the first. Sorry.
Okay, so Marcus was just going to say, so about that thing that we were talking, or I messaged you about.
Which thing?
Oh, the thing with cards.
Ah, yes, that. I thought I messaged you about that.
Oh, okay, we're going back and forth for a while on that one. Yeah, I'm totally okay with that, provided we open it up as a open social hub, and you don't play for stakes.
Of course we're not going to play for stakes, we're going to play for money.
Money is stakes. So Marcus just says, okay, look, I mean, a little bit of I like it better than a poker club, and that's something that is... Yeah, let's just say it's conventional for officers and also something that's a little highfalutin and let's just say exclusive. So keep it open invitation, put it on the public duty rosters that you're opening this up. Anyone can join, but I don't want this affecting anyone's duty. So clear head, and you don't play for anything that is valuable because I don't want anyone regretting their joining in on it. So long as I don't have to step in as command captain, You're good to go.
All right, so
There's
keep
banging
Trekker at
on the door.
Bang, bang, bang.
You hear a bit of rumble in the kitchen, in one of the in what would be the kitchen. Probably more of a counter as Rick sort of rushes to the door and opens it.
Wait, Kendra hands. Am I cutting out?
Yeah,
I think
you
you
cut out
squeezed yourself
there,
out of
but you're good now.
existence.
Am I here now?
Yeah, you're here.
Sorry, I'm late. I brought dessert.
Nice.
Oh, please come in. We've just finished the main course. I was going to organize some teas. If people would like a tea, then dessert after a bit of time to help digest everything that they've eaten.
Do you have jasmine?
Well, I've got some sour teas, but we do have some very calming ones, as well as a bit more energetic ones. But I think now would be good time for one of the more calming teas.
Meanwhile, Kara has gone back to her guitar. She is apparently now distracted, and it is not as good as before. It's still, thankfully, not horrible, but it ain't good.
It fits that range of you're not quite sure what planet the tune is supposed to be from.
I like also how on that roll it was dual 19s. I literally came as close to doing as absolutely awful as I could and then pulled it back just that tiny bit.
String snaps, hits you, and it's all of a sudden a medical emergency.
Doctor's here.
Kara, this week. Marcus continues just to sort of, sit by himself, and he acknowledges tea and is waiting for tea.
There's a Bajoran glaring at him.
Marcus is just sort of like, what did I do? And it turns a turn of expression, just legit confusion. He also considers asking, is this about what the admirals were saying? About going to the peace conference.
Did you actually, did you say that, or?
Oh, no, that he's debating whether or not to say that. But yeah, that's where his head's going right now. I've been dealing with so much crap from the admirals today. This probably is just following suit.
In the meantime, Rick is starting to distribute some nice, warm, hot cup of teas. It's Saure brand. Not brand, but a Saure type that actually not only sort of relaxes and calms, but also helps with the digestion of such food that you might have recently eaten.
Such a variety of wonderful food.
Meanwhile,
and you're walking when you're walking past your door, it just opens up. Somebody used their security code to grab it, and Larissa walks in, takes a tea off the plate like she's been there the whole time, and just starts to look around.
Also about this time, Oakley flies over to Bryce and is showing him some very interesting artwork of his food. I think Bryce should make a roll for this. It's definitely going to be probably reason something, but I'm not sure. Reason science, maybe. I think Oakley has a secret message.
I really doubt that it reason science is not going to be. Oh wait, no, I have to put in roll, don't I? Oh no,
it's just the exclamation point.
That's it. Ooh, I guess Bryce is very perceptive.
Bryce is on the same machine level as Oakley, and he realizes that the stuff that Oakley is showing seems to show a set of files in the Reliance database. His little artwork is this ship's file structure.
Bryce would nod and realize that Oakley is backing up some of the most important of the ship's files without being asked to, and he's like, and he looks at Oakley and says, "You're a unique little guy, aren't you?" And kind of gives him a weird it's almost like a friendly pat on the shoulder, but Oakley doesn't have a shoulder, so he just pats the back of Oakley. Yeah, that's a really good idea, Oakley. A portable backup of the ship's files would be a very good thing. Let's look at expanding your memory so you can do more. And Bryce starts to have a conversation with Oakley about ways to expand Oakley's memory capacity.
Now we're going to get a positronic brain for Oakley. Everybody watch out.
He becomes the machine god next. What is thy first command, Oakley? Beep. Smiley face.
That would be kind of horrifying.
Giant,
if
godlike
you're
Oakley.
If you're gonna have a mechanical overlord at Oakley, you could do worse than Oakley, I suppose.
Kara has finished assembling her plate now for Setsa. Oh, good lord, I forgot her name. So Kara's finished assembling the plate for Setsa and goes over and says hello to Kendra. Hey, how are you feeling this evening? I noticed the sneezing.
Yeah. We do have an announcement to make, but I'm kind of waiting for the right time.
Gotcha. I understand.
Kendra looks around the room. What is everybody doing?
The context of the conversation that Larissa probably just had with the admirals about bringing her sidearm and extra sidearms to the peace conference, and she doesn't look exactly happy, but she seems to be enjoying whatever dessert you brought, but she really does not look particularly happy. And Bryce appears in deep conversation with Oakley.
Quentin is sort of staring off, not really paying attention to what's going on, and generally distracted and fidgeting.
Kara quickly goes over the cheesecake and scoops up 2 slices, one of which she quickly puts along with the plate of the other food that she's going to bring to Setsa. The other one, she stuffs in her face.
Cake.
And Marcus is sitting awkwardly at the table, still unable to relax.
Bet.
Rick is sort of just standing back a bit, just sort of looking to be the host. He's already provided you with a glass of Saure tea, and is just sort of trying to look around to see what his hosting duties would next take.
Kara looks over at Rick. So why'd you join Starfleet anyway?
Oh, that is a bit of a big question. But it simply boils down to we owe the old Starfleet and Federation a lot, and it's only right for the Saure to repay our debts to the Federation through such service.
Kara nods. This is definitely, about what she expected, but it's also interesting to hear from, the Saure's own lips, ?
Sort of have close enough to lips anyway.
If somebody doesn't do something soon, Kara will go back to playing her guitar. Who knows if we'll be lucky this time.
Hunter, what are you doing?
Eli?
Oh, I didn't realize I was...
Eli!
As I put in the chat, Eli's enjoying the whiskey, and he gave Marcus another glass. Pretty good for a whiskey originally made in the 20th century, huh?
Marcus just nods at that, having his second glass in relatively rapid succession.
What would be a role for whether a social interaction goes awkwardly or not?
Let's do presence command. I think that would be how to communicate
and let that inform how you role play what you're about to tell everybody, right?
Yes, exactly. So what's my target number?
Presence and command for you. I actually didn't have
14.
Nice job. I didn't have my sheet up yet. So yeah, presence.
2 successes.
Kendra goes over to Quentin and kind of pokes him and pulls him towards the center of the room.
Quentin looks about as close to bolting out the door as you've ever seen him.
Okay, Quentin should totally do a roll for how awkward he's going to be, too.
Marcus is going to have to roll as well for the same reason.
Quentin's roll is 10.
I'm 15.
Oh.
Quentin found some composure.
How did that happen? So did the captain.
We are always a professional family here at Starfleet.
Can I spend momentum to re-roll that?
What? So
you want to fail?
Have we earned any momentum?
I think
Nope.
with many of these we sort of have, but we've never really
spend momentum and try to fail. I don't care.
This has definitely got to be a new one.
All right. So which one are you gonna re-roll? Are you re-rolling the success or failure?
He was re-rolling the success. He wanted to fail.
And he just re-rolled another success.
I guess I'm just going to kind of swallow deeply, take a deep breath, and
Look surprisingly composed.
find my happy place. Find my happy place. Find my happy place.
You see, it turns out that a second ago he had grabbed a glass of whiskey from Eli and downed it.
I thought it was the tea.
Marcus,
He thought it was iced tea. He wasn't paying attention.
He grabs the glass. Eli
Marcus,
tries to give the spiel about the whiskey again.
Marcus.
I like to think that Eli is still giving the spiel, but to nobody.
Marcus is retaining his composure by doing the Picard maneuver.
Pull your shirt down. Yep, I got it. All good.
Well, seeing we have everybody here together, I wanted to let you all know that Quentin and I have some exciting news. We are having a baby.
Kara begins polite applause. Yay! Oh man, if Tardigrade was here, he'd really freak out.
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking what Tardigrade would say. Rather than
oh god. I mean, he could spore jump in at this exact moment and then spore jump right back out.
like, congratulations, and then boom, he's gone. What?
It'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
That
happens.
Bryce would raise an eyebrow and be like, so that's what the sneezing was all about.
Marcus joins in with the applause and just says, yeah, congratulations. Because he's already known and is like, okay, this is a formal social occasion. This I've got more of a handle on.
Well, indeed, congratulations.
I told Marcus right before we got yelled at.
Larissa takes a bite of one of the last bites of her cheesecake and goes, be honest, I have no idea how your species exactly handle all of that. I tried kissing Waitley once. It was so strange. Cheesecake.
Kendra laughs.
She's a lizard person, so she's probably like, I really don't understand. Oh my goodness, Jarlin.
Kara almost goes to say something, looks over at Bryce, remembers the extra pip on her collar, and quickly shuts her mouth.
We got momentum now.
Eli just sipping his whiskey. Called it.
You're a doctor. You don't count for calling it.
Also,
Listen,
technically,
I am a betting man, and I would have made a lot of money.
Also, who did you technically call it to? Because I don't think it counts as being called unless you actually tell someone.
And that would have violated doctor-patient confidentiality, so ha!
I called it to myself.
Well, congratulations, Kendra. I already wrote you a little thing, but, for what it's worth, whatever poll I've got on IFAR, if you need medical treatment, they've got the best in the galaxy.
I appreciate the offer.
Well,
Bryce looks at Oakley and says to Oakley, "You're on the Reliant. The odds of this thing going normal, very low." It's like Bryce suddenly is very comfortable talking to Oakley after he realized that Oakley is backing up some of the file system. Like Bryce would really, really, really like that. Is what I'm getting at.
Kara chuckles to herself and is running a finger around the rim of her teacup. People near her may or may not hear her say, "Yeah, well, I recall telling somebody once that Reliant is a ship full of profoundly broken people."
Well, if you or your prospective child need anything, I am here for you in whatever I can do.
So how many hundreds of names do you have it narrowed down to yet?
Names are something that, well, let's just say we're still discussing at length.
Quentin, are you okay? I don't think I've seen you breathe in the last 3 minutes.
I am probably at this point a little green and woozy from my bad sour tea. It tasted too much like oak.
Yeah, and it had a real high alcohol content, too.
Perhaps that wasn't tea that you just had if it was alcohol. No sour tea has any...
Doc, pipe up at this point.
You drink my whiskey.
Kendra's laughing in character. Things may be about to get interesting.
You drink whiskey that's a couple 100 years old. How'd you like it? Not sure how
So
you could...
what is the equivalent of constitution in STA?
Fitness.
Somebody tell me what my fitness is.
Your fitness is 9.
9, and I'm gonna say your probably command is 3, so your target number is 12.
Okay, so I just retch a little bit and
oh
burp.
goodness, that was that was whiskey.
Kara, remembering
sure
the
how
whiskey, remembering the whiskey, looks over to see how Marcus is doing.
So he's had 2 whiskey and various foods, which he had to kind of control the reaction to. So Marcus's current game plan is just to be quiet.
What would Kendra have to roll to find out how she's reacting to the tea? The actual tea. The actual tea.
Well, I suppose if you wanted to randomize that, it'd probably be fitness command.
Do you still have the sheet up, Kara?
It's 12. That's some damn good tea.
It is. It's delicious.
We're rolling good tonight.
It actually
most
sort
part.
of also helps you a bit with the hiccups. Only, like, they're not as anywhere as frequent as they have been.
Yeah, actually, I would say that with 2 successes, your morning
Kendra
sickness feels a little better.
Yeah, I was going to say, Kendra looks relaxed and comfortable for the first time in probably a few weeks.
And of course, our using all these rolls now means that well, when we really need them, the fickle nature of
Hooray!
Hey, I was just amazed at the fact that Kara was going to say something overtly sexual and funny to Larissa, and somehow her command training clamped down on that so hard.
Right?
2 crits.
Right? And obviously, the fickle nature of random number generators cast, means that you guys are going to roll terribly in the finale. It's great.
That's okay.
Good for
Well,
me.
so long as we roll well to get to the escape pods, we'll be fine.
Save for momentum for the escape pods, people.
This is the North Star.
If we do bad enough, it won't be the Reliant either.
Kendra wanders over and sits down next to Marcus.
So Marcus just has that sort of just processing through various things. He's a little bit slower this time. And he kind of eventually winds up on, sorry if the Admiralty gave you any trouble today.
Now calm, relaxed, and feeling better. So she gives a little sigh and goes, you probably got yelled at too, didn't you?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, mostly on the point of, well, some stuff that happened last time.
Kara's like, they never stop yelling at me.
You guys are
Kendra
getting-
smirks.
Well, the hero doctor doesn't get yelled at by the Admiralty, but yes, most of the rest of us were not considered to have been up to Starfleet's exceptional standards on IFAR. Granted, when am I ever up to Starfleet's exceptional standards?
Eli grins. I happily accept this high standard.
To Kara, semi-drunk Marcus shouts out, Kara, you do a good job. And yeah, it's coming from your captain, and that's supposed to mean something.
Kara just blushes slightly and nods. Thank you, sir.
Yep, and Marcus kind of has that kind of make a speech moment. It's like, yep, I'm proud of my crew for getting through that situation. It's
And
not
you're
every day
2 plus whiskeys in.
2 plus whiskeys in. Is like we faced down an angry machine god who happened to be someone we know, and everything turned out all right. Everything is still all right, and we got the ship. It's getting checked out, and we'll be able to get back on our exploration run in not too long, and things are going to be normal.
Sir, this is Reliant. This is our normal.
Quentin.
Bryce says, "Hey, I'm right."
Quentin perked up slightly when he heard exploration, but then kind of retreated back into himself when Kara started speaking.
Bryce goes, "Hey, on the bright side, I got to find out how fast I can run, and trust me, it's really fast."
At this moment, for just the cosmic coincidence of, this is Reliant, everything, or this is as normal as it gets. Lieutenant Tardigrade, Spore jumps into the room, takes a Hasperito, and then Spore jumps out. No word to anyone.
Did he take any cheesecake? He's
He
got a
comes
lot
back
of
for
hands.
cheesecake. He comes back for cheesecake, and then Spore jumps back out.
Wait, there's gyros. I worked hard on them.
That's his involvement in this episode. He sends
Sissy.
food.
Sissik would watch and see that happen, and whoever is closest to him would hear him say, "That's who I replaced."
I just love Sizik's perspective here because the last time we really kind of got the chance to talk to him, it was first day on the job, we're traveling through time.
Yep. And he was like, well, aren't these Starfleets very interesting people?
Meanwhile, Kara is just grumbling to herself jealously about Bryce's abilities. Thinks he's so good with his damn mechanical limbs. I could have had mechanical limbs, but then Ilium!
Those mechanical
Marcus.
limbs didn't help him at the end.
Marcus just has a somewhat boisterous, like, yeah, you should. Like, damn right, Eli, and then sits back down.
I just wonder if Bryce is ever going to catch up on the fact that not only does Kara think he's incredibly interesting and respectable, but she is jealous as fuck of him.
I like how he's like, it really, what he's focusing on talking to Oakley right now is, I can run really fast. Like, he's like, Oakley, you have no idea. I'm going to say that seeing Oakley back up some of the files really has Bryce be like, okay, I gotta like really connect with this little machine and see what we can do. He's been training mostly in engineering. Let's get him over to security, huh?
I wish I could do the Liquid Snake voice, but in my head I'm just thinking, brother!
Leans
Just do a
over
Hulk
to
Hogan
Larissa.
voice.
Kendra leans over towards Larissa. Thanks for having my back on the planet.
The Admiralty really did not like that I brought 3 pistols down.
Trust me, they didn't like that I had mine either.
Why did
All I did was go off for a little bit on my own, and they hated that.
Why did I admit to all 3?
Because you're honorable?
She looks at you with like a raised eyebrow, like, what? She says honorable. Sensible, I think, is the right word. You don't lie to the admirals. You just don't.
Marcus has a little bit of a drunken comment of, well, maybe we got off a little bit lighter this time simply because the bar's been, let's just say, lowered by a certain officer who, again, has kind of made a massacre of a situation using fire at will command that we're all now having to start reviewing a little bit more in detail. Admiralty would like to, not have so many destroyed ships in their wake.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, the player's going to get roasted again. I am just so looking forward to if the player has the closest intersection we get to the player character. So let's just put it that way.
Kara looks around and goes over to Rick and pats him on the shoulder. It's been a lot of fun, but would you be terribly offended if I left to go give Setsa some of the food that she's missed? At some point, she's got to get out of that Admiralty grilling.
Sure, go
What are you
ahead.
doing?
It would be probably about time we should be wrapping up anyway.
And what was that, Kendra?
What's she doing anyways?
That's a good question.
I think the Admiralty Board is concerned about the nature of the positronic technology in her, as well as the augments that she and I have. Augmentation is pretty normal among the IBI, but I think Command tends to think of us as a security risk. The fact that Setsa got hooked up to an ancient machine god and blue screened just about all the machines in the Zaratine sector doesn't help.
Yeah, I can see how that would, let's say, a difficult comfort.
She's going to need that cheesecake when she gets out.
Bring her an extra piece.
Kara goes
Marcus,
and gets an
at
extra
this
piece.
point, he stands up and just says, I think I'll take my leave then. Yeah, I'll just be on the holodeck if anyone needs me. And nods to Rick. It's like, it's been a pleasure, and I'm enjoying it. I'm going to actually leave this, like, his stammering in a little bit as in character. He says, I enjoyed getting to know Saure Culture a little bit more. It's nice to have these moments where we are able to, explore and not get shot at. And he rubs his shoulder at that.
If you are indeed welcome, Captain. If you or anyone else, and Rick sort of peeks up a bit, making sure that his voice is heard, do have any questions or anything about Saure Culture, then I am here to answer.
I'll make a list, Kara says. She looks over at Marcus as she ambles toward the door. So, Starlight?
Just for Kendra, yeah, we'll go ahead and take a quick break. Let Hippie jump back in. But yeah, Marcus says, no, I've a little bit of a program I used to blow off a little bit of steam.
Thought maybe I could drag Setsa in there and we could join you later. But that's cool, too.
Yeah, maybe later. And at that, he just sort of, not quite sulks out, but just has that, kind of defeated walk out.
Kendra's watching sort of curiously with her head cocked to one side.
Rick is going to do some insight, which is very poor, as he watches the captain leave. And he's got one success to see that what's the captain feeling right now?
So he's beating himself up. So that's the feeling that you get from him, that he's being really hard on himself.
Can I do an insight roll too?
Yes.
What's
Ooh, let's just check the number because I've got the cheat sheet. This would be insight command 14. Ooh, 2 successes.
so? Do I pick up on the same thing?
You pick up on the same thing, and you also kind of get the feeling that he's beating himself up, and you can't get any specific read on it. Like it's kind of like, to you, it feels like it's coming out of nowhere, and that is by itself information. It's not like something happened during the reception or the dinner.
Kendra follows Marcus to the door, and as he walks outside, she steps out with him. You okay?
He takes a really deep breath and is just like, yeah, and he's debating with himself about how he wants to handle this, and he says, yeah, just, I guess, yeah, social interaction for me, and yeah, we just haven't had a lot of experience just being open and having a situation like that where I don't have to watch my back, let's just say.
Reaches out and puts a hand on Marcus's shoulder awkwardly. Well, I'm here if you ever need to talk. I think you did good.
Well, thanks, and congratulations again on the little one.
Thank you. Kendra kind of goes back into the house to see because she's not sure if Quentin actually knows where she went.
Quentin has fallen asleep in a chair, kind of slumped over, drooling a little bit.
So Kara basically just returns to Shea Ibby with 2 plates of food and is careful not to drop it, especially since Setsa gets 2 pieces of cheesecake. She heads to the door and just kind of bumps into it. Let me in. I live here.
The door opens.
Kara's like, oh, hey, thanks. I got my hands full.
Setsa is sort of just sitting on the couch by herself, just sort of neatly, like just kind of upright and just sort of not in any sort of like particularly relaxed position. Datapad is next to her, and she's just sort of there.
Setsa, I brought food from the party. Kendra gave you 2 slices of cheesecake. She hopes you're doing good.
Oh, that's most thoughtful and kind of you. I didn't want to impose myself. So, yeah, I very much appreciate the food. And
she eyes the cheesecake, and her tail starts to wag a little bit.
Kara chuckles and passes over the plate with the cheesecake on it first. Just be careful that Nala doesn't get a hold of it. Nala would very much like people food. She wishes Setsa to know this. She is using telepathy. She's using doggy stares. Nala would very much like people food.
No, Setsa food.
Setsa munches on the food and kind of it starts to settle down a little bit, and sort of sets the data pad to one side and says,
So how was everyone?
Rick was fine. Eli was fine. Quentin downed a glass of whiskey thinking it was tea. Elenis showed up a little bit late. She had an announcement for everybody, which I guess you missed. I wonder if she'd be upset with me if I went ahead and shared it with you.
I would not ask you to take an improprietous position, so Kendra may tell me if we speak ever.
Well, she basically made a whole announcement to everybody, so I guess it's public knowledge. But if you'd rather hear it directly from her, you know, that's fine. Let's see, what else?
Kendra taps her comm badge.
Beep, beep.
Hey, Kara, by the way, if you want to tell Setsa the news, you totally can.
Kara searches for wherever she put her comm badge in her kimono so that she can tap it and respond. Okay, yeah, thanks. I'll go ahead and let her know then. I wasn't sure. Well, she wasn't sure if I should say anything, so.
I meant to tell you that before I left, and I got distracted by Quentin's state.
Yeah, I was also explaining what happened to him. The oak tea.
Oakley?
No, oak tea, or as I think most places would call it, whiskey. I believe that Quentin, as I was telling you, downed a cup of whiskey thinking it was tea. I don't think it was doing him any favors.
No,
Anyway, about that announcement. So, Kendra's pregnant.
Oh! That is most happy news.
Yeah, so that's, why she had been feeling ill lately. She had actually already told me in confidence before. I was letting her know that, if I can get any pull on IFR, I'd be happy to help her with any medical stuff she needs. I'm not. I don't know a whole lot about the business of having children, especially across people from different planets. But I figure that if anybody's got a good handle on that, it's IBI medical technologists.
Setsa rubs a hand along her back at the phrase "IBI medical technologists."
I'm sorry for. I'm sorry.
No, it's nothing that you need to apologize for. The cheesecake is most excellent, and I am safely guarding it from Nala.
The other plate has a lot of different sour fruit. I managed to get, some bits out of Rick on most of it. I definitely remember the bit about Trillar root, but I think some of the other stuff might have passed me by. He's also welcomed any more questions we've got about Saure Culture, so we can write him some stuff down if you want later.
Yeah, I would like to take that opportunity. I mean, I got to, the crew got to experience more of IBI culture, and yeah, I'd like to just continue exploring and learning more about different peoples.
So, how many microphones do you think that Starfleet intelligence is going to stick inside our cabin?
Probably several. And
She sort of smiles to herself at that one, and says,
I'm still hopeful that I'll be able to keep progressing and get back to being on duty and having a career that I thought I was going to have at a certain point before the Borg and all this. So I'm hopeful, Kara. I'm optimistic.
Kara gives a slight sad smile and sets a kind of pat on the head. I'm afraid if you're looking for normal, Reliant is the absolute worst place to find it. But speaking of normal, I should probably get back into my uniform. I've got some checks to do down in the shuttle bay before I turn in for the night.
Setsa nods at that and says, yeah.
Did Marcus?
And she's pretty awkward from that point.
Marcus only mentioned that you weren't going to be coming when I asked where you were. Afterwards, he said he was headed off to some holodeck program to let off some steam. I asked him if it was going to be Starlight in, because I thought maybe we could join him later, but he said it was something else. You'd probably be better off asking him directly.
I will. Thank you, Kara.
And Setsa at that point sort of gets up and sort of kind of looks over to the sort of her little clothing unit and just decides, you know what? Yeah, she'd like to have something a little bit more official walking about the ship, but yeah, civilian would do her just fine at this point. So she nods and sort of just starts getting ready to head out the door.
Kara, meanwhile, slips into the bathroom, quickly gets on her uniform. She doesn't make too much of an effort to be terribly presentable. At this point, it's late at night ship time, so everybody will understand, or they'll be lower ranking than her, so either way. And she gives Setsa a little wave and heads off to the shuttle bay. But first, Kara's going to head down to the shuttle bay, and she looks around for Ensign Decor, who should be on duty right now.
Yeah, you can say that Decor is on duty at late hours, and almost certainly a job in the shuttle bay would do Decor well, considering that she shakes the deck plating. Not once they've gotten it fixed, but there was a point where she shook the deck plating. So
she's a whole lot of woman.
She's a big rock person.
So Kara heads down to find out what Ensign Decor is up to and just checks in with her to make sure that the evening shift and everything is going okay, since technically, though she's not going to be awake for all of it, Kara is responsible for most everything that happens in the shuttle bay.
True. Decor would tell Kara that one thing about Ryk'tyr that most people don't know is that they talk very not slowly, but slower than most species. So in almost diametric opposition to the way that Kara talks most times. So after you ask her, she's like, "Shuttle bay is functioning normally. I'm simply performing standard upkeep on the shuttles."
Well, I'm glad to hear it. I like having somebody capable down here. That said, how did it go over when we started telling everybody not to touch the shuttles after they come back in from Nebulae?
No one's taking the shuttles out to Nebula, so hard to say.
Good point. I'm just hoping not to have a repeat of what happened last time. I don't blame anyone, of course, but it does seem like Starfleet keeps an awful lot to itself, especially when things don't happen repeatedly.
Seems like that has happened repeatedly. She actually like has a it's hard to tell when someone can't really move their eyebrows or make really big facial expressions because their face is made of rock. But you definitely get the sense that she just made a joke. Even though there was no indication of humor, like she didn't like make any face reminiscent of I just made a joke, but there definitely was that. It seems like it does happen often.
Kara gives a wry smile. That's what I think too, but the Admiralty don't tend to agree with most of what I think.
For some reason, she says, for some reason, the infection from holy water has not made it into a list of dangers we might face from certain nebula and certain temperatures, but I'm sure the Admiralty have their reason.
I wish I could be so sure. Anyway, thanks again for taking over the night shift. I know the last person got sick, but you've been doing a great job.
Thank you. I haven't been on board long, but shuttles are what I like, or what I'm good at.
Kara just smiles. I'm just happy to try to get to know everybody in engineer or in operations. So, like I said, glad to be aboard. Send me a line if you need anything. And
Okay.
she basically just gives Decor a little wave of thanks and heads back to her quarters, content that everything is going well in the shuttle bay. And that at least in one aspect of her career, nothing bad is going to happen that's going to get blamed on her.
That's good. That's good. Just think it won't be long until you lose an arm. But hey, whatever.
Eli, do we want to do that scene?
Sure.
Okay. All right, you guys are done, okay? Right?
Yep.
Okay, just making sure. So, over on the holodeck, Marcus, after rolling a 1 and 11 on his combat security roll, needs to find a more advanced combat training algorithm from what he was using. So he has tapped his comm badge and called Eli down to the holodeck.
Dr. O'Connor here. How can I help you?
Doctor, got a little bit of an odd request. Might be a little bit of the two glasses of whiskey. Might be that I beat level 3 for once. Mind doing a little bit of sparring practice?
With me? Are you sure? Are you sure about that? And by the way,
I'm probably getting.
I don't feel drunk at all. Not even tipsy. I'm scared.
I'm a bit of a lightweight. To survive in the Orion business world, it's a game of don't have any drinks at all. Make it look like you're drunk, but you're 100% drunk. But
well, that's fair.
You were the one though that did beat the crap out of an Ibby combat android or combat cyborg, and I may have tangled with one before, and I'm pretty impressed. So yeah, if you got something else to do, fine. I don't know.
I have literally nothing else to do.
Oh, great. Do you want to do the shoes or
let's start simple for now. No shoes. Let's just do basic stuff, I guess.
All right. Yeah, we got the full assortment here. It's just a standard combat training simulation. So we've got the simulated weapons. We've also got some of these ancient, like, foam padded things. I don't know.
I haven't done any of this in a long while. I'll be right down there.
Ged looks over to you, Doc, and says, hey, I got things here.
Thank you, Ged. Here, have a glass of whiskey.
Thanks. He puts it.
It's a couple hundred years old.
He sets it on the desk in front of him, as he is currently inputting some information into the computer. And just real quick before you go to the actual holodeck, after Dr. O'Connor leaves, Ed looks out the door after him, and the words, "I'm not even feeling drunk," like echo back as if like Ged is considering what was just said. He takes the whiskey over to the replicator and sticks it, puts it in so that it'll be reclaimed by the replicator, and then he goes over to the bio bed. And that the bio bed that we all know, Ged and the doctor keep their whiskey in, and he takes the doctor's whiskey bottle out, goes over to the replicator, and says, synthahol to taste like this blend, and he creates a bottle of synthahol and replaces the doctor's whiskey and puts the actual bottle of whiskey like in the bottom of a filing cabinet that nobody ever goes in, kind of thing. You said you wanted to play with the idea that that O'Connor has a little bit of a drinking problem. Who would notice that before Ged? Nobody. Ged would be one of the first to notice that. He doesn't throw it out. He puts it away and replaces it with synthahol version.
So did he do that with the bottle that Eli brought to the party?
No. That wasn't in the biobed. That was a different. That was like a.
Okay, just making sure that Quentin and Marcus are kind of drunk.
Yes, they are.
Versus psychosomatically, like, oh, I'm totally drunk. It's yeah.
But yeah, when Ged heard, I'm not even really drunk. That was like him. That was for Ged going, ooh, I don't like the sound of that. And he took it on himself to replace the doctor's secret whiskey stash with synthahol.
So,
what's that, Eli?
I was just making a play on he's not drunk because of the Lambda spread.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that. But still, it's very easy for Ged to misinterpret that. He wasn't there and doesn't know there was like an awesome bread that was at the party, right?
To be fair, misunderstanding each other has been raised to a high art form on the Reliant.
It really has. It really has. But Ged would totally. The other thing about Ged is he'd want to deal with it without getting anybody else involved. If indeed Dr. O'Connor is developing a drinking problem. See, that's what Ged would do.
That'll be interesting to eventually dive into.
Yep. I like introducing things, a little bit at a time, based on what you said you want to role play.
So when Eli arrives, it's the holodeck is in its sort of like its resting state, so you just have the grid pattern, and then Marcus just has a bunch of just miscellaneous holographic kind of sporting equipment, but also kind of combat arms. It's kind of like a fuzzy line, where it's nothing that looks overtly like a weapon, but things that looks like you could basically spar with.
What you got here?
I don't know. I've just been pulling up stuff on the menu. This kind of looks like a Libra. This might be like a mutant batleth combined with a racket, tennis racket. I don't know. Yeah, figure we improvise.
Okay. You got like a fencing saber? I was on the fencing team at the academy.
Yeah. Here's one, and he hands the saber over to Eli.
I didn't imagine this was the kind of combat training we were going to be doing.
Well, I mean, yeah, in my experience, you really don't get that much of an option, and yeah, you just really have to improvise a lot. And that's what you did on the station, so yeah, need to blow off a little bit of steam, and yeah, let's just put it this way: my my attempts at beating myself up have gone less than successfully. So this is what I need tonight, and yeah, I'll be able to sleep happy. So on guard.
On guard. I'm not the best to train with. If you want actual, training to use, that would be someone like my father, because he taught me and my siblings. But me doing this is just, I'm not going to be able to explain a damn thing.
No, it's more or less getting the feel for it. I mean, formalized training's great and all, but at the same time, you really can't. There's only so much you can learn in just going through the formalized approach. So, huzzah! And he lunges with something that kind of looks like a lacrosse stick combined with a batleth. And that's going to have to be a daring security? That would be a Rick comment.
Sorry?
Daring security to lunge at Eli.
Yep.
With, yeah.
Hand-to-hand is daring security, and tell me if I'm right, Baz. What's the other one? It's not daring, it's the firing a pistol
Control.
Yeah, that's what I.
So both of you would be doing daring security opposing checks with if you've got focuses that apply, then they apply.
Nope.
Daring security. Here we go. Oh no.
Oh no. We have a complication.
That's a good thing. Complication probably as does like falling in the way of Marcus's attack count as a complication. Like you slip when you go for it, and
Yeah, that would work. It is. They both got one success, so that's a bit odd to work out. Just who's the active player in that one. So we could just.
I feel like Marcus is definitely the active, participant there. And I think one complication, they both got one success. Maybe they like bounce off of each other, but the complication could be that like Eli stepping back manages to put himself like right in the way of, basically leaves himself open for a new shot if the captain takes one.
Yep.
Marcus would take that shot. So is that another roll?
Yeah. So
I think another roll, but like an automatic success.
Yep.
That's
two
the way I
D20s
understand
for both
it.
of you. Ooh.
Oh,
The point of the exclamation. So 5 and a 3.
Oh,
Oh, 1 and 6.
So it's
All of a
still
sudden, it's an
3 versus,
even match again.
It's still 3 versus 3.
it is still 3 versus 3 because of the automatic success. But even though Eli managed to, end up right in the path, like leaving himself totally open, he also manages to get his defense back around and like not be hit and hurt by the captain's. That's an incredible attack, but it's also an incredible defense. So I have the feeling that you two are looking pretty evenly matched.
So Marcus at this point is just sort of like, he's got a little bit of a smirk. He's just like, this is sort of getting him up a little bit, and he's just like, let's see. So he just yells over to O'Connor. It's like, yeah, great work. I can see, definitely why you were able to take Ilium down. I mean, God, that was good. And I got really lucky there.
It's all about the finesse.
Yeah. Kara in chat there. So
I can teach you
Marcus
combat breakdancing.
the element of surprise is not one to discount. So Marcus sort of like it just has the he is American Gladiator style, just ridiculous implement over. He just sort of just holds it to one side for a second. It's like, want to keep going?
You know it.
Rolls.
Oh no.
You can match it. Come on.
No.
Ooh, yeah. This is I definitely see this as like a there's a momentary breakthrough, but I mean, come on, you still got 2 successes there,
Quick
Eli.
question.
That's a very small hit.
Just quick question. I'm an empath, so would I be able to like sort of feel his intention when he strikes? I just considered that.
Maybe with a roll. What do you think, Baz?
I reckon something could happen. Maybe have one roll to see if you could get a benefit from it, and then the actual.
Yeah.
All right. What am I rolling?
Oh, I keep closing the page like a dork. Eli O'Connor's character sheet. I think you'd be rolling insight and command. That sound about right, Baz?
Yep, that sounds about right.
All right, so insight command, you need a 14. You kind of know what the captain's gonna do. You get an idea that he's about to make this attack, and that extra success with your empathy again makes it so that the attack does definitely hurt. The captain definitely gets a hit in, but because you knew kind of like you didn't know exactly where it was going to come from, but you had this idea of the type of attack he was going to make, and that leaves you able to twist out of the way and only take a glancing blow.
I see. I ready my saber, and I say, "To hell's heart, I stab at thee," and try to, rush him.
Oh my goodness.
Marcus is taken aback by this and only gets 1 success.
Oh my goodness! Does
Opens it up.
No!
Oh!
Oh, from hell's heart,
Can I
I
re-
stab
can I-
at thee.
Can I use momentum just for one? Give me a
Versus
chance to match. Aw.
four. I'll
Oh
answer
no!
your question
Marcus
in
was. I
chat.
was just typing.
Cast.
Yeah, I was just typing for cast. Nope. But you're free to spend momentum because we've built up some, and we don't have any critical need for it.
All right. I'm gonna re-roll both then for.
Spending all our
This is going to get
momentum.
even worse. We
Okay.
don't need it. We're near the end.
No.
You say that, but then Hippie could just drop, like, I don't know, a xenomorph on us.
There's a bluegill just comes out of.
I'm calling it right now. Double complication. Nope. Still a failure.
Oh.
All of a sudden, Eli starts to feel that alcohol.
No. He feels the bread. There's too much. It's expanding. So Marcus gets another hit.
Starting to hurt, Doc.
I will take this as a moment from the open replicator door. Setsa Jagoro screams at seeing Marcus whack Eli, or just not like a full scream, but just like a noise of astonishment.
Would Kara be there?
If she's followed Setsa, then yes.
I imagine you'd probably still be in the shuttle bay. This is probably all taking place at like similar times. Like that's one thing that happens is like we need to realize all these things probably are taking place at like very similar times on board the ship. So we can't be everywhere.
I'm not there.
Yeah.
Question: does Marcus look over when Sesta screams?
Yes.
Eli's going to take that chance to try to get him in the side.
What a bastard.
Yeah, he's not gonna. He can't oppose this because he's not looking.
Oh, so go ahead, try to hit him, Eli.
I guess that's a glancing shot, or
Yeah, well, you get him good. It's just not like you don't like take his legs out. I think it's like you don't level him.
Eli just scratches his shoulder. You don't let your guard down. That is the first rule of this.
Setsa at this point. Let's see.
There we go. Prize out. Why are you fighting? Is something wrong?
We're just having fun.
Marcus just sort of like nods and taking the head, just like, yeah, just a little bit of crew building. Is it that? No. Today's been a rough day, and yeah, just not feeling it myself. So, how you doing? And it's just like it's kind of like it just sounds completely off, but she just rolls with it and says,
Well enough. Just coming to see how you're doing.
And Marcus is just like with like Eli's weapon still like prodding him in the side. It's just like, yeah, I can't bullshit this one. And it's like, maybe we could just use a little bit of relaxation.
That is well. Sterling, or would you and Eli like to?
Marcus turns to Eli. He's like, yeah, resort program, or do you got other stuff to do?
I kind of want to keep this up. I might find checkers.
Okay. Yeah, we'll pop over to holodeck 2 then.
No, I can go. I need to find checkers anyway.
Okay. Well, yeah, have fun, and yeah, if you need, or once you're done, if you need to cool off in a hot spring, we'll keep the door open for everyone.
I might actually go to 10 or Club 42 and do some karaoke.
Okay, cool.
Feel free to join. Peace.
Ooh. I have a perfect thing for you to see when you go to Club 42, Eli. When you go to Club 42, you become the first member of the senior staff to find out that your operations chief, the guy who like sits on the bridge and is Klingon and like avoids Sizik and all that, he actually has like a gig. He is singing in Club 42 when you arrive. He actually, when he is not on duty, he sometimes sings at Club 42. And so far, you just haven't wandered in there while the chief has been singing. But this is the first time that someone sees that the chief sings. Because that way, when Mike plays in, we can force Mike to sing something.
I would imagine it's like a combination of Klingon opera and the Power Rangers theme song.
Probably, definitely, or maybe Kamen Rider. It might be the Kamen Rider theme song.
Oh yeah. Oh no, we got that totally. So,
goodness.
just as Eli's going in there. Marcus puts out a general memo to the ship of, if anyone needs to relax, we've got plenty of capacity over in holodeck 1, where we're going to be kicking up the Starlight Inn resort program, hot springs, and Japanese Ibi fusion architecture.
Cool.
So the door is open there, and Setsa and Marcus are in there.
Nice.
Presumably at some point, Kara will come along, having discovered that Shea Ibi is empty and that she's not going to get yelled at. Probably, thanks to Decor.
Probably thanks to Decor.
I think what it is that Kara has a slight... she's a little gun-shy now of getting under the Admiralty's sights, since she keeps doing that.
I imagine, like, I definitely like the Admiralty, like, gave a little bit of a dressing down for bringing weapons to a peace conference, and I really, in my mind, think that Larissa's response would be like, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, very sorry sir, it'll never happen again. Next peace conference, she like loads down with 5 guns instead of 3.
Technically, she told the truth.
Yep.
Oh, no,
I will never bring
like
3 pistols to a peace conference again.
A shoulder-mounted dwarf particle cannon.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, she would definitely give them all of the yes sirs that they need.
Well, it's like when you get stopped
Eli
by
brought missiles.
It's like when you get stopped by the cops. You know, you stare straight ahead, give short yes or no answers until you know what you're being accused of.
Yep. I've got about 15 minutes before I'm gonna
Yeah,
go run
figure
my
that's
day.
a good.
Yeah, before I'm gonna have to like go pass out after I run my Star Trek daily. So any last scenes people want to do that I'm involved with, let me know.
Yep. Yeah, Marcus and Setsa are in the Starlight Inn. They've shifted over to the hot spring area, so just swimsuits for general crew. And for those who weren't there for the original bottle episode, the Starlight Inn is a program made by Kara, and it's basically just a resort program. But rather than something like Ryza, it's sort of this mountain resort, and again with Ibi Japanese fusion architecture, styling, and traditions.
Cool.
It's pretty nice when I'm done. So anyway, Kara just shows up. She probably cocks her head at Marcus and says, "How can you manage to not relax in a hot spring?"
It's an art. And he seems in better mood.
Kara chuckles and just goes and sits down. I'm probably not going to be here too long. I'm starting to fall asleep myself, but I wanted to come and check on you guys. Setsa, I'm still sorry they yelled at you, but I'm starting to think that the Admiralty just yells at everybody. It's their job.
Yeah, I mean, they're sitting at their desks in space dock. And yeah, I mean, there's a certain way of, well, making it feel like, yes, you're having an impact. You're asserting yourself. So Ross told me a little bit about it when joining up a little bit, that there's a certain way of dealing with the Admiralty and helping to avoid it. But yeah, I think after last time, it kind of caught up on us. But we're doing good, all things considered, so this is just the highs and the lows of the career.
Yeah, well, I don't know what they were expecting us to do. We came out of that one pretty good. I mean, Ilium's in jail, so nobody got killed.
And I am not a giant, cyborg in control of the entire planetary system of Ifhar, which I am most grateful for.
Yeah, you're much cuter this way.
Setsa blushes at that and kind of sinks a little bit into the spring water. And Marcus is just sort of like, he just nods his head and says, "Well, of course you're welcome to join us, Lieutenant. And yeah, sorry about today.
No worries.
I wasn't feeling much myself."
You realize if you start hanging out with Ibi like us, you're probably going to get on Starfleet Intelligence's list too. Guilty by association and all that.
Oh, I've been way on their list for way longer.
Why did they give us a ship again?
I mean, come on. I honestly don't know. I mean, maybe Lieutenant Tardigrade was just too cute.
Kara thinks to herself and he floats on her back for a minute. You think all this hot water would probably be any good for Elenis, given the fact that she has, baby dew and all that?
Yeah, I mean, we can leave it on. Let people just sort of come and go as they need to. Because, I mean, you did a good job with this program.
I was thinking maybe send her a message.
Kendra taps her comm badge. Captain, are you busy?
It comes through the holodeck speaker since
Nope.
nobody is wearing a badge.
Yeah, Marcus just says, nope.
Where are you at?
Holodeck 1, Hot Spring. I put out a memo. Anyone's welcome to join us.
Kendra makes her way down to the holodeck.
There's like pine trees and mountains, and it's all really pretty, and it's got very nice stars. No, seriously though, it's a very nice little hot spring. You know, there's warm water everywhere. There are holographic Ibby servants if you happen to need anything, and if you don't, well...
Kendra appears in the doorway of the holodeck and looks at the 3 people in the hot spring. Wait, is the doctor in there too?
No, the doctor's not here yet.
No, he's over in Club 42.
So it's just the 3 of you.
Yeah, and admittedly, the way the program works is you actually wouldn't be able to see us from the doorway. The first thing you'd see is actually the Ibby caretaker standing outside the entrance to the hot springs.
So she would eventually make her way to the hot spring.
Yeah, I'm guessing she would just...
see us.
Yeah.
I reached the edge of the hot springs with a kind of bemused and confused look on my face. I look back and forth between the 3 of you. Are you sure I'm not interrupting anything?
Marcus has this Marcus has kind of just completely not getting it face and just like, no, yeah, I mean, I invited anyone to hang out here. I mean, it's a nice program.
Kara, just kind of looks over from where she's floating on the water. I thought the water would be good for you. I'm just trying to look out for you.
Snickers a little bit and then wipes the smirk off her face.
Setsa at this point sort of stands up and just gives a formal bow and says,
Congratulations on your reproductive event.
Kara starts giggling and she actually drops below the water and starts to come up sputtering.
Loses it in character and starts laughing.
Setsa looks a little concerned and just sort of processes and just sort of joins in a little bit with a little bit of a chuckle. Not quite getting it.
Setsa, I've been hanging around the humans too long.
Marcus says, we're not that bad.
So, Captain.
Hey?
I've been thinking about having security do a contraband check.
Kara shifts her eyes around somewhat nervously.
Marcus just kind of thinks to the thinks to Ged and his stash and the fact that he knows that there's 2 stashes, but also thinks to himself, yeah, I'm the captain, and good comes with the bad, and if they want it, they're gonna have to fight for it. So he just sort of nods and says, yeah, good idea. I mean, we've been to a bunch of planets, and got to make sure that, I mean, the very least, what we got on board is safe.
I'm thinking, I mean, honestly, I know that every ship has contraband on it. No surprises there, but we don't want anything dangerous on the ship.
At this point, Setsa kind of interjects and it's like,
So far I'm not. And she kind of stops herself
realizing that, like, not anything dangerous on the ship wasn't referring to her. Because she's been grilled on that point the whole day.
Oh, that's awesome. That's funny. I like that.
She looks a little crestfallen at this point, and Marcus...
Can I do a roll?
Yeah.
I want to do a perception roll. That was, 14?
Yeah, perception command, your command is 4, insight 10, yeah, 14.
I am going to notice whatever you're about to say.
So it's a perception check on Setsa.
I wasn't sure if I was going to be Yes, I wasn't sure if I was going to be oblivious or not.
Oh, yeah, you totally get it, and she basically... What you pick up with those 2 successes is that she has been, like, repeatedly asked on the point of, like, how, like, what is she? Is she a danger? Is she the person that she signed up as from the Academy's point on? And she's been asked that question so many times today that in that moment, she started doubting it herself because she has just been repeatedly having to justify that position. And after so many times, it does start to sink in of being repeatedly asked that question.
Kara moves over
Are you a danger? Yeah.
Kara moves over and sits down to Setsa and looks over at her and playfully asks, do we need to make you an Ibby burrito?
No.
Of Ibbies?
Kara just double face palms.
Wait, what did Kara say? Or Kendra say?
You make burritos out of Ibbies?
And then, yeah, Setsa...
Okay, then Setsa... has that comment of like, Ibby are not food. And Marcus is having that little bit of like, yeah, reality's starting to slip again. You can feel it. Getting away from you. And he, at this point, just splashes Setsa. And She gets a little, she gets soaked, looks to Marcus, and then splashes him back, and then to Kara and says,
No, no, Amy Burrito. I want to stay as myself from this point. No more surprises.
All right, well, if you don't want to be wrapped up in a blanket, that's your problem. All cuddly and comfy and cozy and warm.
Maybe a little burrito.